My name is Carrie Buck. I was born in 1906 in Charlottesville, Virginia. My mom had had a hard time. People said that she was a prostitute and did drugs. So when I was only 4 years old, I was placed in foster care. The Dobbs adopted me and raised me. I went to school and I was an okay student. I got good grades. That wasn't until the 6th grade when the Dobbs decided that they wanted me to drop out so that I could help around the house. But when I was 16, something terrible happened. The Dobbs nephew, he raped me and I became pregnant. This was a big scandal because I was young and not married. And the Dobbs wanted to hide me away so that I wouldn't keep them from getting any other foster kids. So they had me committed to the Virginia colony for the epileptic and the feeble-minded. I was able to stay in Charlottesville, Virginia until I had my daughter, Vivian. But then I was sent away to the colony. When I arrived, my mom, Emma, was also there. She had been committed a few years earlier. So the superintendent of the colony, Albert Pretty, he took a special interest in us. He had believed that there was things like using drugs and alcohol and being sexually promiscuous was hereditary and could be passed from a mother to her children. And although my daughter was just an infant, they declared her feeble-minded, saying it proved that there was 3 generations of feeble-minded women in our family. He asked the colony board to have me sterilized, and they agreed. This was all for show, though, because there had been a new law passed in Virginia, the Eugenical Sterilization Act of 1927. This was the law to protect doctors from being sued when they sterilized their patients. Many other laws just like it had been struck down in other states. But Mr. Pretty, he felt like my family was the perfect case to prove the need for eugenics. 3 generations of undesirables. He had his friend, Irving Whitehead, an attorney, and a man in favor of eugenics, file paperwork on my behalf to suing him. This is what became known as the U.S. Supreme Court case known as Buck versus Bell. Obviously, Mr. Whitehead never cared about me or my family, so we never really tried to defend me. With the state creating false evidence stating that I was feeble-minded and did poorly in school, and that my infant daughter wasn't quite right, there was no real defense. I lost my Supreme Court case. One of the justices even stated, "It is better for all the world if instead of waiting to execute degenerate offspring for crime, or to let them starve for their imbecility, society can prevent those who are manifestly unfit from continuing their kind. 3 generations of imbeciles are enough." On October 19, 1927, I was forcibly sterilized by having my fallopian tubes cut. I was the first Virginian sterilized since the new law had been passed. My sister was also sterilized, but she was never committed or deemed feeble-minded. Instead, she was told she needed to have her appendix removed, but instead they sterilized her. For years after she was married, she tried to get pregnant, but didn't find out the truth until much later in her life. I was released soon after my surgery. My daughter later died when she was only 8 from an infection following the measles, and I was married twice. My first husband died after 9 years of marriage, and I was married to my second husband for 19 years when I passed away. I was buried next to my daughter, Vivian. Many people that met me stated that I was completely normal, so it seems that I was nothing but a prop. In 2002, the governor of Virginia apologized for the state's contribution to eugenics.